Okay, there's our big fish.
Male Chinook that's come in. See, she's right over her. If you see behind her, she's digging. There's a little deep spot that's cleared out where that white rock was. And so she's moved material down, and there's material down 1, 2, 3, 4 meters downstream. So she's bulldozed. She's moved all that rock for like 12 feet.
You mean like they make their own, let's say like a nesting?
Yeah. And so that's where, when she was on her side with her tail,
I know.
flashing down, she's pushing that material out. And so she's literally wearing her tail off as she's doing that. And they might be, you've seen them like 10-meter long digging.
Whoa, to do that. So it is enough that they're making.
It is. And so they need,
awesome. I've always wanted to go
and
there.
they need to build their nests in a certain area because they don't want it to get washed away from the river. And
Yeah, they probably were spawning.
the eggs are buried in the gravel. They need oxygen coming in to supply them, fresh water circulating through. And so they tend to have the nests in areas like this where the bottom's coming up with a riffle before it drops down.
Okay.
Because the water kind of moves through, some of the water is moving through the gravel there. And so that helps oxygenate the eggs.
That's amazing. That little head knows all of those things.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
amazing. And then the male, so if she deployed or anything, the nest first, and then the male fertilized?
They usually pair up together.
Okay.
And you'll see them, the male usually has a kind of crossover behavior before. And then they'll come up side by side, and they'll release milk and eggs at the same time. They only have, so the eggs have a very quick time to fertilize. They absorb water, it's called water hardening, very quickly. And that's what helps keep them when they're buried in the gravel, you know. And it also keeps the eggs porous, the sperm has to come in to fertilize, but once it absorbs the water, it swells and shuts off, so like fungus can't get in as easily, and the egg is safer. So it only has a couple seconds. I think so, for that fertilization.
I would think they'd do it on the sides instead of right in the middle.
This is like a gravel, but that one was like sandy.
Like without any small stuff in them.
Oh yeah, I see
So that's the pot, and then behind them downstream, you'll see this pile of gravel, small gravel, that is, I don't know, 2 meters wide.
What's that in feet?
No, it's not 6 feet.
Okay.
4 feet. How's that
Okay.
sound, Sandy?
So I see an open spot of gravel that fits that description.
Yep, and so,
Where you don't have the cobbles.
the cobbles are the pot where they move the gravel from, and then the pile of gravel is the sort of
So
pile
that's
she
where
moved.
the red is?
So she moved that whole pile of gravel and dug through it and fluffed it and filtered out, kicked out all of the sand and bits in there and scraped it all together.
But what is she doing now over there? Is she just monitoring the situation?
Yep.
Yeah? Because Alicia said she hadn't moved from that location.
She might have enough of that to. Well, the other one took off. I think there might be one more spot down here. Finishing off there.
You don't have to do that. Thank you.
I think she's probably later. She's probably done. It looks like she's got a long red there.
So did the male already do the fertilizing? That way we don't see where.
Yeah, so these don't, but given the looks like she's been here a while. So that is the pot area where they've dug material from that and moved it either down here. There's like a pile of gravel, and then out just on the other side of this line, there's another long pile of gravel. Of like, yeah, so that's the red is this whole feature of the pot and the tail spill, that sorted gravel pile. So you can see the gravel pile there, like there's no sand in it. It's like rocks that are, you can see little spaces in there.
Yeah.
Not like this is a lot of sand and it's not really mixed, but that's really, we call it fluffed. It's like, they've worked all that sand out.
Are they laying in the sand or in the rocks?
They're buried in the gravel pile with the big spaces so water can move through it for the Chinook salmon.
It's kind of like a trail almost.
Yeah, and that's where kind of the things we're looking for when there's no fish. You'll see that.
It looks like a little.
Yeah, and if you go below her, there's an area with big cobbles, and then there's like a long pile of gravel with some leaves on that one. And then I think this whole area has been just worked by multiple fish, so it's kind of like a complex now. It's not a well-organized thing. It's just all red.
It's a nursery.
Yeah. So we did on the lower Mason River. They come in usually kind of mid-August. August is like decent numbers of Chinook around, but they don't make it up into here until there's sufficient rainfall. So this year they probably got into Mainston Mill down at Stout Grove down there. Probably some fish in October there, a few, but they didn't make it up here until November 1st, somewhere around there.
Unless they're further out.
Yeah, I think our fish went up. We probably scooped them up. No, they're like, nope, we'll give that away a while.
I'd like to see them shoot those rockets. Coming up the rockets, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I think they're beyond that.
Yeah, sometimes the males move around.
Yeah.
And the females. We are getting fresh fish coming in.
If they didn't have that white, they'd really be a lot harder to find, probably, huh?
Yeah, they are. Especially when they're like the browner, like that little.
So is that just from like lack of blood flow, or?
That's probably worn down the skin, like worn it off.
Oh, okay.
Probably along the lines of all the capillaries and everything as well.
Yeah.
It just dies. That's where the males too, they get so the males, their body typically deepens, they get kind of a humpier back. And then they'll get that, called a racing stripe, is that dead tissue, that white line on their back.
So the males, it's all the way up the back, and the females, it's just mainly in the tail?
Generally. There's always exceptions,
yeah.
But that's generally a good feature to look at.
So one time is huh? Have they scattered at one time?
Yeah, they probably moved up here. I think we probably.
And what are they, like 5 years old when this process happens, when they start?
So Chinook come in at multiple years. So a fish that's been out comes back as like a 2-year-old is what we typically call a jack salmon. They're generally sexually mature males. There are very few females that come out that age. They're about this big.
So the males come up soon.
No, the males can come back that 2-year-old life stage is typically male when they're about this big.
Okay.
Depending on the ocean conditions. And then a 3-year-old, that's probably she shrunk. She's definitely shrunk a lot on her journey. It's probably a 3 or 4-year-old.
So cool.
So we don't really know unless we age that fish with a scale
Yeah,
or a
tag or
tag or
something.
something, or a scale or with. Because what's another interesting feature we saw in that really bad ocean condition years, and so it's really nice to have some bigger fish. The live fish there were more fish around. I would say like 30 or 250.
That male's getting closer, see? She's chasing him off. Yeah, the one with the white tail is the female. And the one with the stripe up his back. She is saying, go. She's chasing him off, huh, the male?
Curious if anybody's been looking at the rainfall equal to the weather. If there's ever been some sort of
Yeah, there's a little confounding in that too. So if you have more rain, it's sometimes harder to do surveys.
okay.
Also, interesting. So during the drought years, fish don't make it up as high, right? So there's probably more nature spawning. That's really hard to
Okay. Yeah.
That's an issue with the right? That's
Okay.
definitely an issue.
Yeah. That sounds like the advent of drones would be
I
something
know, yeah.
that,
And they've done it on the Eel River. They've done that a little bit. It's kind of like summer, early season, looking at the fish. Because Eel River, they get a lot of fish just like falling in the river. You can get that too here, but Eel River's it's significant because they have the temperature barrier and the low water barrier. It is really low. And they can't move it well, and so they can't just look at this small and so they just kind of
hey, he's a fellow college in school. He's open.
yeah, but especially a couple of hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
this is actually we do weekly about a couple times a week for something we always simpler with
Oh, okay.
and look at adults, which is fun.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. You've probably seen those giant freaking sturgeon that it.
Yeah, we get everything.
I heard about the sturgeon at the.
So typically the burrows produce from the fish have fractured the cold water and the do more quickly to come out. They also feed on more. Often have
So I guess they do surveys on the egg nests, and each one of these is marking, they call them a red, and I guess that's where they lay the eggs. So they keep track of